Alright. Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Sean is with me today, and we are doing Mando chat. How's everyone doing today? We have got a pretty good episode to talk about. Sean, how are you? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Another fun day. Had a early morning work, and I did some painting this afternoon.
Awesome.
And I have a new puppy, so that helps too.
You got a new puppy? Yes. Oh,
Yes. Her name is Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
She isn't as brave as Ahsoka, and she definitely screams more than I thought Ahsoka remembered. But she's working out.
No, she's really, really cute. So the let's see, what are we talking about today? The latest episode of The Mandalorian. And
the tragedy.
Yes. But before we get into that, what have you been painting lately? I know you've been doing a lot of 40K stuff, right?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of 40K stuff. I've been working on my salamanders or the Space Marine faction.
Okay.
I finished some assault intercessors, one of the new turrets or whatever, and I'm working on some more sword hacky guys. And I have a special Star Wars surprise that I don't want to reveal just yet. But let's say the Force is with this one.
Okay.
So he's a special, and a very cool friend got it for me.
Oh, sounds really cool. We are. We already got some comments in the chat. People talking about this stuff. I want to throw out a spoiler warning for anybody who is watching, because there is a lot of potential spoiler stuff, because we're going to be talking all about this episode of The Mandalorian. And if you guys haven't already seen it, well, I mean, we waited until Monday. We gave you plenty of time.
Yeah.
Has Mando lost his rifle? I think so.
I think he did. And it's so sad because it's such a cool rifle.
So, the funny thing is, we're going to get into this, but I'm going to say this. Today, I got an email from Hasbro, because Hasbro Pulse, and their merch store, basically. It was like, get your early access Mandalorian rifle now. And I'm like, I don't want that anymore, because he ain't ever going to be using it again. I ain't buying that. You picked the wrong day to put that thing on sale.
I did see that.
Yeah, they just put that out today. And I mean, it looks really cool, too. It does. But it's all white and orange because it's a Nerf gun. I'm like, I'd want to spray paint it black. But then I'd get the cops called on me because I'm walking around shooting my kids with this, long black rifle in the front lawn. And, it's not going to work.
Standard suburban neighborhood.
Yeah. So for people who might not recognize you, or anybody out there that doesn't recognize Sean, Sean was the other half of Double Critical. He was one crit and I was the other, right?
Oh.
And so in the other live stream we just recently did, or I just did this weekend, I was talking a little bit about the history, and we've been on kind of hiatus, and we may start again. We're kind of
Yeah.
we're in contract negotiations right now.
Exactly. I want to say it was my fault, but to be fair, it was my computer's fault, and then I had computer repair issues.
Asus kept your computer for like 4 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 months. Yeah, it was. Yeah, 4 months.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah. So that was an issue, and then also Podbean was an issue because they took down Double Critical. They just erased it and then kept billing me for it, and I'm like, it doesn't work that way,
Yeah.
So basically, long story short, there was another company that was named Double Critical that raised a stink that somebody else had something that was like they have a monopoly on the concept of a Double Critical. We were Double Critical Podcast. They had a deck of cards on Kickstarter or something. So
we were tarnishing the name, apparently.
I don't know. We were putting out more content than they were, but that's not saying much. Okay. And I guess the links that I have, I was handed a note here by the admin office. Thank you, admin office.
You're welcome.
That I guess none of the links work. So I'll fix the links to Sean's Instagram. Have you been uploading anything else to Instagram lately?
Instagram, yeah, I've been mainly just the two recently. I've been slowly getting through some other stuff right now, so
okay,
not too much.
All right. All right. So, wow, we have some interesting questions. But I kind of want to hold on some of the questions until we get to those points, because there's some of the oh wow, could the ball Grogu likes be Beskar since it survived the explosion? I mean, yeah, I guess it could.
It also has plot armor, I think.
The ball was there for a reason. The ball has been symbolic. I wouldn't be surprised if they sold those balls as like a necklace or something like that.
God, it's perfect because it's so easy, and so simple. I'm surprised Disney hasn't done that yet.
Well, I think what they needed to have done was put something else on the ball, like they need to put something else. No, like put two of them together.
Oh, okay.
And have them like on a chain so they dangle. I mean,
and have the spear there too.
Yeah. No. Oh wow. Yes. No. I was thinking like if the ball had like a special like engraved pattern on it, that it was like kind of how a basketball does or something like that. But
okay, fair enough.
But I feel like everything on this show is merchandise ready. And then Philip's wondering about our thoughts on the theory now that Boba Fett is back. What if the Jedi that Grogu contacted on the Seer Stone is Mace Windu, and then Boba gets to have his face to face with Mace Windu? Wow,
that's actually cool.
That's an idea.
I would like to see that.
We'll get to it. So, all right. So again, spoiler warnings. Even though we just talked about some of that stuff, we're talking all about this most recent episode, the tragedy. So this is your warning. If you haven't seen it already, watch it now, then come back and watch us. If you tune in late, you can always rewind, or just watch now and then go back and be like, that's what they were talking about.
I know it's simple too, but that's the title of the title of the show right off the bat. The entire time I was watching, I'm waiting for when is the tragedy going to happen. So it's really cool. It's like I'm already prepped myself to have this anxious. Okay, so I know something bad's happening. Which one is it going to be?
Yeah, I was watching this one with the family, and we got up early on Thursday morning and all watched together, and before school and before work and all of that stuff. And so we're all watching like really early in the morning. We're all sitting on the couch and we're like, Mando, and then we're like, oh no! It was like a meme, Yeah.
Everyone's excited.
Yeah. It was. I was a little bummed. All right. So we start off. They're playing catch again with the ball, and again, it was just another reminder of, hey, there's this little ball. It's been in multiple episodes, but usually when they show the ball at the beginning, the ball is going to get mentioned again. It's also clear that like he's starting to love this kid. Like he's playing with him more. He's getting excited. He's like, he's so proud of you. I'm like, you did it. You're so awesome.
Yeah, like he had to like, he cursed. Like Star Wars cursed at him. He's like, no, it's okay. It's a good thing.
Yeah, his Dank Farrik is the new. Yeah, damn it. Family friendly PG-13, but the GD kind of Star Wars, and it's really funny. So he flies around this temple and decides, hey, I can't land there, so we're gonna fly. And I love him flying, carrying Baby Yoda, like or Grogu. Now, I don't know if I ever want to say Grogu. That's like, it's cute. It's a cute name and everything, but like, how long until we collectively as a people stop saying Baby Yoda and start saying Grogu? Like,
once he gets his own TV series, I think that's when we'll do it.
And then, are we going to start calling Yoda Grandpa Grogu?
Grandpa Grogu. He'll still be Grandpa Yoda. I mean, he doesn't lose his name.
I know, but Grogu lost his name to Yoda, kind of. Maybe.
Oh, that's fair. Okay,
maybe.
fair.
Maybe. All right. So pretty cool scenery. This I liked this because this actually reminds me of some of the FFG playmats about the Jedi Temple ruins and stuff like that. Yeah. And it was very like what you expected to see, I think. Some other people brought up that this whole planet looked a lot like an episode of the original Star Trek, like that, because they shot all those episodes out in Southern California and like in the Mojave Desert kind of area. So like the Mojave Desert is kind of like the go-to for any alien planet where they have to shoot, and
that's fair. It's cool to me because this is Tython, and Tython's like the big. I mean, this is supposedly where like the Jedi started and things like that. So it's cool to have them bring back the EU kind of origins of the Jedi. Like if you play the Old Republic game, the MMO, that's the planet you start on as a Jedi.
Was that the planet you started on? I didn't even remember that.
Yep, Tython is like as far as my history knowledge is concerned, is the original place where Jedi were like first kind of started.
I remember the starter level, but the key difference is there were a lot more like Jedi running around when I was.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was during the Old Republic, so they're all gone now. But yes, so he kind of gets him there and he puts him on this stone, and all of a sudden he's like, "Come on, kid!" And all of a sudden, this happens. The slave one starts flying through, and oh my goodness, like this was like, oh, they did it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did it.
Oh my! And I didn't know he still had this ship, because in the comics he had the slave 2 after Tatooine, or in the old EU. In the old EU, he had that other ship. It wasn't as it was more more squared off.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, it's iconic. I mean, to have it come back is just amazing.
Yeah, and they didn't show it up too close, but yeah, it was like, oh my gosh, that's the slave one. It's back. It's and oh my goodness, it was great. And I love stuff like this too, because you don't have to be a Star Wars fan to understand to follow the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is more than just an Easter egg. This is a huge, this is an ostrich egg, right? It's a huge dinosaur egg. This is a T-Rex egg right here. But even if you had no idea what this ship was, you still knew. It's like, oh, we've got company, we got to go. And he turns around, and the kid's like,
Yep. Then that's when the force field pops up, which is, by the way, really cool.
This was really cool. As a matter of fact, now, how many of you, and watching, because I know you've played it, but played Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order?
Yep.
Because this thing looks a lot like those save circles in Jedi Fallen Order.
It really does. Those the whatever that race was called. Spoilers for.
I don't know. That game's been out for long enough.
Yeah. But yeah, it does. Like the ones you would like lift up and like kind of do like the stupid puzzles with that were sometimes infuriating.
Or just the places where you could recharge your HP that were all over the place, little save circles. Yeah. Or if you rest now, you'll repopulate the level with enemies. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. But But Tom Walker brings up the engine noises of the slave one too. Yeah. The sound for this whole season has been off the charts. It's been great. So he can't get through the force field too, which is also pretty interesting. Maybe that's why it was safe to save your game there if nothing can penetrate. And so he's like, all right, fine. He tries to get through multiple times. He's like, all right, I'm going to go down and check it out. And all of a sudden, we get, I've been tracking you, Mandalorian. Oh, it was so great.
They brought
Tamura Morrison.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, the fact that he came back is amazing. And the sniper lady was Fezzik, I think his name is.
Fennec Shand. And so she's up on the hill. And so I love the way this whole scene played out, because it's just like, I want my armor. He's like, you can't have it. And he's like, I got a sniper. He's like, what's to stop me from killing you right now? Like the sniper. It's just like, oh, I'm the one wearing a Beskar. He's like, it ain't pointed at you. It's your little friend. Now, granted, I don't think a sniper bullet would have gotten through that shield, but you don't know that, and we don't want to take that chance.
It's like, was that kinetic force versus thermal?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
I think I don't think the Mando would take that chance with the kid. He loves, like I said, he's developing that dad-like feeling. He's not going to do it.
Yeah, that's his Achilles heel right now, and and this was surprising to me to see her, because I'm like, wait, no, she was dead, like because in that episode of season 1, like dude shot her and then left, and that was in the middle of the day, and then you saw her still dead, like at sundown when when the boots kind of walked up to her at the end of the episode. I'm like, all right, so she's not like she's just, was faking it, because she laid there dead all day. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, she was legitimately shot and killed, but I mean, you find out, So here's the thing. Like, they kind of agree to settle down, all lower their weapons. Boba Fett's like, you take off your jetpack. And I'm like, I still don't understand why in the world, first off, I have so many problems with this. Why not tell him to put down his? Why do you have to take the jetpack off? I'm not gonna lie. This is the second time this season they've scared me with the jetpack. First was in the second episode when he takes off the jetpack, he gives it to the Jawa, and then he radios it and it kills the Jawa. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I thought was a Jawa. I thought it was just a different species.
It was a Jawa without all the coverings. It was like you could see his face. He was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a Jawa. I have to wait and get like the behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
Once this all comes out, but yeah, that little dude.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I keep thinking somebody's gonna steal his jetpack because he's worked so hard to get that in season 1.
Yeah. So Lane says like the jetpack might have rockets, but like that's close range, man. That's got like you're gonna see him launch that if he's right there. So
well, he doesn't have the giant missile in his jetpack either. His is more of a flight. This one doesn't have a missile, or at least not the big missile, not the one that Boba has. Boba's got the big bada boom, and this one's just the multipass. Fifth Element references, but yeah. So he puts down the jetpack. I'm like, okay. I still don't understand how that. Maybe it's because of the end of the episode. Why didn't he just fly past them at the end? Because
they're right. Yeah, and they're kind of writing in why he wasn't as fast during it. I guess. Yeah. But it's
Evan
it could have made like where it got hit or something, so it's a little bit more damage, less of like, oh, I forgot.
Evan brought up a good point. It's like he thinks that maybe him taking off with the jetpack so he can't escape. Probably shooting a flying Mandalorian might be difficult. Well, that's fair. I'm willing to accept that.
Boba were like amazing shots the whole show, man.
Yeah.
I'll get to that later.
Yes. And so then Fennec Shand also kind of reveals that she has now cybernetics in her sternum, her torso, or her whole belly. I'm like, okay, that's new. I've heard of a cybernetic hand or legs, but she's got a cybernetic body.
Intestine?
Yeah, I don't know, like her whole gut, like because that's just what's showing. So that goes up pretty far in there. So
it's either, I don't know, like how do certain things going to happen now? Can she still eat?
Yeah, does she have a cybernetic poop sack? Like how does she poop? Because that's where your bladder and all that stuff is in there too. So maybe that's why she's so mad now, and that's why she wants to kill things, because she doesn't get to go to the bathroom anymore. She's got to change her poop sack every few hours.
Oh, jeez.
That's what I think. I don't know, but we'll have to see. Let us know what you guys think in chat. Give a +1 if you think that Fennec Shand is mad because she has a cybernetic poop sack now and has to change it.
Oh God, poor girl.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, Boba saw his father use the jetpack to get away from a Jedi.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So then, they start to talk, and all of a sudden we get these landing craft. Now, these were straight up like I thought, like, wait, is the First Order landing? What's going on here, right?
Because are those the same First Order landing crafts from the Force Awakens?
Very similar. Very similar, and I feel like that's not an accident. I think that they are low key trying to little by little bridge the gap. Yeah. I think they're trying to do that, and I think Ling says, "I hate these landing craft." They were definitely straight up Episode 7 style. I don't think it's the exact same like nomenclature, but it's in that family, right? Yeah. If Episode 7 was the T-70 X-wing, this was the T-65, right?
Okay, yeah,
that's the way I look at it. And again, between this and then the clones earlier, and them wanting I'm starting to think, okay, Baby Yoda, they want him to make Snoke. Like that's got to be what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we saw those test tubes in the I want to say 2 episodes ago too. Yeah. So there's stuff they've been experimenting with stuff all over the place.
Yeah, it really does look like they're starting to bridge the gap right now. Which honestly, I expected that to happen. I'm not upset that that's happening. I don't want that to be the purpose of this show. I don't mind if it happens incidentally in the background. Like here's my honest thoughts on it. Like, I don't mind if this craft is similar and the First Order ends up having something similar. Like, I don't mind that at all, because there should be a natural flow of technology over a 30-year period or what have you. If the whole point of this show was to get to Snoke, like if it all boils down to Baby Yoda cloning Snoke or something like that, then that's a little bit... Like, then it brings it all back to this is all because of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah,
right? Like
it's been a side off that it's been this more to me more fun, because it's focusing on the rest of the universe rather than just the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, I just don't like, it's one thing I didn't like about Solo as much as like you kind of knew the fate of everybody involved, and I don't want to know the fate of everybody involved. That's why I really like Ahsoka and Ezra and Thrawn and all of that, because they're entirely a completely side story that
and we have no idea.
No idea. Yeah.
And even have bringing back these like Boba Fett's sounding like an old character, but we don't know his future because nothing that hasn't been explained in any of the movies, so it's cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, so they land. We get a lot of. Apparently, they hold an awful lot of stormtroopers.
It doesn't seem that big, right?
Yeah, it didn't seem that big, but I'm willing to suspend my disbelief to say that they just crammed a whole lot of them in there, and also plot magic. I honestly got a kick out of this because I thought this was like they were having some fun with this. The classic like competent stormtrooper captain, but incompetent stormtroopers. He's like, no, flank them, you idiot! Like I loved the way he was yelling at these guys, and they were just like getting killed, and he's like, they're dying all around me. What am I got to work with?
Yep.
Like, yeah, no, this is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, all right. And then all of a sudden, Boba starts busting out that gaffy stick, and
dude, that scene was brutal. Like it was cool, but like brutal, smashing stuff left and right.
I loved it. And you're right, it was brutal. I think this is what Tamura Morrison would do to you in real life.
Yeah.
I don't even think he was acting. I think he was just rehearsing, and they just decided to like, oh, is he just doing his morning exercise? Or let's turn the cameras on and see what we get. He is just whacking everybody, and he disarms people with the hook in there. I don't know if that's what it was designed to be, but they just because obviously these gaffy sticks, we saw them cleaning teeth with them earlier. It's multi-purpose, but the coordination and everything. And this is, I think, Robert Rodriguez directed this, and he does like a lot of those zombie movies.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't follow directors too much, so that's cool.
I don't as much,
terror, like that monster. Boba Fett is the monster in this.
Yeah. This has got a lot of like the zombie gore monster movie kind of flair in all of his scenes. He is the monster. You're exactly right. And this is also fan service because look, we have a cult of Boba Fett, right? Ever since he died without doing anything, right? And so it became like this running joke in Star Wars about how Boba couldn't do anything great, and all of a sudden now we're getting payoff for all of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. Smashing helmets. I think we've only seen helmets get smashed once before, and I think that was Chirrut Imwe in Rogue One.
The armorer beat some troopers with the hammer from the underground scene.
Was she all right? So the armor actually cracked the plastoid armor. Chirrut messed them up, but he wasn't like hitting them. So he was just trying to put them down. He wasn't trying to kill. Yeah.
Boba and the armor were crushing skulls.
Imagine Chirrut, Boba, and the armorer all together. Oh man, what if we get I mean, we're not going to get Chirrut because he's dead by this point. But man, imagine Boba and the armorer are back to back, like fighting side by side. Or with the Mando and with the spear too.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yes. Oh, this is just great. Getting revenge. He's been a wimp up till now. Well, no, I don't think by his choice. I would never call Tamura a wimp. But I know what you mean. You're talking about the character and the way the way he kind of went out, unfortunately. The best part is that Boba was so cool designed that the Mandalorians were spawned because of him, says Ling27.
Yeah, that's true.
He was the first, right? And it was a kind of a culture that I think the fan base helped inform the expectations, the expectations for how great that culture was going to be. If nobody cared about Boba and like his action figures never sold or whatever, we would be watching a very different show right now. We'd be watching like the Gamorrean Guard, and I'll be about a guy going around going.
I want it to be a drama though. It's like a serious like cop guard drama for Jabba Hutt's
Nobody takes me seriously because of these fangs. All I want to do is be friends with these little children. I love children, but they won't let me near the orphanage. One accident, 5 kids end up dead, and I'm banned for life.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. The Gamorrean. Coming soon to Disney Plus. You guys can use that if you want, by the way, if you're watching Disney. All right.
Just a little side credit or something.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's cracking open these guys. He laid him waste. He eventually sees the ship open up too, and he kind of disappears. And in the meantime, we kind of get the rest of the assault. Fennec Shand gets a little bit of like sniper time, kind of.
So, if you like look at her shooting, she is shooting between all of the different pieces of the blastoid armor.
Mm-hmm.
She's not shooting the armor; she's shooting all the soft spots.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool.
Yeah, she's very good at that, and she gets some pretty cool moves here. But this mortar guy, we get a lot of things that we've seen in games and in non-screen stuff. This is the first time I think we've ever seen. Well,
Yellow.
I was gonna say. Season 1 brought us the red, the incinerator trooper.
Yep.
But this is the first time, maybe the second time we've ever seen colored stormtrooper armor.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen. I know, like even in the Battlefront games, like the shock stormtroopers had the red. They had the red coloring.
They did have the red,
but
they weren't on. They weren't actually on screen or in film. So it's nice
to
see.
No screen or film. No.
Yeah, it's nice to see the colored stuff. And he also had the yellow pauldron too. So. Yep. So this is very cool. And I always see these and I'm thinking new paint schemes for Legion.
For real. But it's funny to me, like when I think of it, like when I think of like military wise, like color coding all of your special units, doesn't that make them easier? Like, oh, just killed a bunch of the yellow guys. Now they can't use their heavy.
We need to worry about the artillery. All right? We killed the artillerymen. Wait, but there's 2 more guys in yellow. They're also trained to use that piece. So target those guys first. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's like
that's a bad
it's the whole like the snipers with the lieutenants. Like if you salute someone, the sniper takes out the person you salute.
Oh yeah, we used to call it sniper check. That's why you're not supposed to salute in the field, right? That's why they don't wear the shiny bar in the field. You wear the subdued, so the sniper can't see it from a mile away. Yeah, like all of these things, like the tactics are not very smart here. Honestly, stormtroopers should wear camo. Like the smartest armor we ever saw was those dudes on Kashyyyk, right? The green kind of the camouflaged clones. Yeah. Link says he said we did not see shore troopers. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I love their design. Actually, like one of the things I excited about, like Legion wise, was the shore troopers, just because I love their design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty good in Legion. Oh, and then we get the Indiana Jones scene with this giant boulder. Like Fennec is doing all this shots, and she finally gets stuck. And she's like, "All right, let me push this boulder down." And these dudes, this is comically good. I love the humor in this show. I've said this in multiple episodes, but it's so good. It's just enough, right?
Yeah, it's not punch. It's not like that's super deep reference. It's just fun.
Yeah, it's lighthearted. It's simple. It's not too aggressive. I've said once before, it's not the Poe Dameron, like, let's start doing stand-up comedy in the middle of a Star Wars, which is fine. I was okay with that too. That's just him. That's part of his thing. But it's more the Han Solo humor, where it's like, like
it's
just
subtle.
Just enough. Yeah, very. But it in the right spot, it makes you laugh out loud because you're not expecting it. And I love the E-Web that's just he's shooting at this thing while it's coming at him. It's thinking I'm gonna blow it up before it gets me.
And I was like, man, just dive.
He's like, no, I can beat it. And I'm like, no, you can't. Ewoks. This is, what? This is almost like an Ewok reference. This is how the Ewoks beat the Empire with rocks.
This is true.
I mean, holy crap! This is totally like. I wonder if they thought that this was an Ewok reference. I'll have to ask Jon Favreau next time we hang out because
next time you talk to him, hey, let's ask him. So I did think of one thing. I different for the Emperor's white armor. There is a whole shock value of you seeing masses of the
Emperor's
same
white armor.
The white armor for the Empire, like the stormtroopers.
Oh, the Empire.
I've seen a lot of comments about hey, why it's not colored. There is a shock factor if you have rows and rows of the same looking thing, and it's like against you. It can be very scary. So there is a terror factor.
The intimidation. It's a little bit of it's his pride. Also, right? Yeah.
So as technically as bad as it is, there is a psychological reason for it. So
sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Also, maybe it reflects purity, right? Like you want to make. Hey, wait, they're the guys in white. I should trust them.
That's true. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah. Or there might have even been some like Ku Klux Klan stuff. Like, hey, these are the bad guys. Well, no, I mean, a lot of Star Wars references dark times in human history, right? Like whether Nazi Germany, for like they're called stormtroopers, and so I wonder. Well, definitely the snowtroopers made me think of something like that. So there's definitely like bad guy references throughout our history to inspire a lot of villains in Star Wars. So maybe. Fennec then like she gets these like jumping, like leaping, falling backwards sniper shots, and she's doing great. She has her moment. Her moments aren't as good as, you know, because like shooting and sniping, even though sniping is cool, you can only do so much before it just gets repetitive. So I feel like even though she had great moments, she was a little bit outshined by Boba Fett because, well, hey, he's Boba Fett. Yeah,
you needed that to happen. But like she did a lot of work. And I actually really like her helmet design. I like her armor. Like it was very actually very ARC Trooper style, like the way the that cape thing on the back of her was.
It is. I thought for sure she was going to bust out into singing "Whip It." Like, did you ever guys? How many guys watching are familiar with Devo, the band from the '80s?
God.
Whip it good.
Gosh darn it, Tim.
Yeah. When a problem comes along, you. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna.
Yeah, man. I still like the helmet. All right.
Yeah. No. It's still cool. And all right. So finally, after trying over and over and over to get the kid out of the force field, Mando finally is like, all right, I'm gonna go join the fight now. You know, I can't.
I love every time he's like, I'm just going to protect you. It's okay.
And the funny thing is, like, as soon as he walks away, the force field goes down. It's almost like, it's like the director's messing with you.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, even he gets down.
The vulnerable child.
He hits the singing birds, and you know they start taking out. And like this is when you realize there's a lot of freaking stormtroopers. And then another transport lands, and then you're like, oh my gosh, we got a lot more. But then just in time, Boba shows up. Now, honestly, when he first shows up, you mentioned something recently. He's put on a little weight, you know?
Oh, yep.
Yeah, a little bit. He put on a little weight.
I mean, he's been in the desert for so long. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, and realistically, dude's a lot older now. I'm gonna cut him some slack. You know, he could still whoop my ass any day of the week. So. Yeah. You know, and heck, it's 2020. I think we've all put on some weight in 2020, so they all get a pass. But dude, I love the shots, the camera angles and stuff. Like him, like looking down, like right here, beautiful. Like
there is I want to use the word utter contempt for the stormtroopers. Like he's just destroying them.
Mm-hmm. Dad bod Boba, yes, definitely dad bod Boba. But no, he's just like so many of these scenes where he's whooping butt on stormtroopers. I feel like almost every single kill he gets here is worthy of its own painting.
Oh my god, yeah.
Could be its own Legion command card or something like that. We need a new version of Boba now in Star Wars Legion. We need like old Boba, who is 10 times better. You know, with the gaffy stick, a much better. That's the other problem is Boba in Legion has a really bad. Melee weapon. He's not very good at melee. He's got like boot spikes, like 2 red.
Yeah, give him a like the thing that Jin has, the armament, so that way he can always attach it.
Well, give him a second. Give him a gaffy stick also, because he's got arsenal too. So if he's in melee, he can boot spike and gaffy stick you. Boom.
Yeah,
you know?
I like it.
That would make him a lot more of a threat.
He shot because I didn't realize the freaking knees had guns on them.
yeah, but he does. One thing I thought was really interesting is he punches this one guy and he does like a rocket punch.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
He does like he fires the rocket blaster and it knocks this guy off of him. This is a really interesting thing.
There is, I'm pretty sure in the RPG there is a weapon profile for this, and it's like basically like a shotgun in your hand kind of thing.
Yeah. No, it's really clever the way. I don't know if he was just like maybe it was just a normal boost. Like, if it's got that much force, maybe it could push him away from something really quick. Also, you know, but yeah, he applied it towards the stormtrooper, and it was a beautiful scene. And then, of course, right after that, we get the knee blasters. This was
I was not
amazing.
expecting knee blasters.
I don't think anybody was. I loved it. I absolutely. Now, I wonder if he had those all along. I think he did.
I mean,
I think he did because you didn't see any knee armor. Cobb Vanth would have used them if he had them.
Yeah. Or, I think the idea, too, is that Cobb Vanth didn't realize what he had, in a sense, either. Like, Boba knows this is the tools he's perfected. This is his family's legacy that he's wearing, and he is a monster in it.
That is possible. That is possible. So, yeah, and then he gets, like, his last kill is, like, over the shoulder, like, not even looking. Again, every single kill is just, like, a masterpiece. Honestly, beautiful stuff. I don't know much about filmmaking, but the director here did a great job.
Oh yeah, that's some kind of cinematic thing. No, they did amazing.
It was a masterpiece. Like, this was so much fun to watch.
This
and
it's
fun
like,
to rewatch.
like Chris says, this is the redemption of like all the jokes about Boba not doing anything. Like, look what he can do. Like, he's older, has been through a Sarlacc stomach, and he comes back and just destroys a platoon of stormtroopers. And they makes them run away. Like, they're already coming for the fight. And they run back
in fear. And as they're flying away, he kills 2 ships with 1 rocket. Oh. And the funny, and here's the Han Solo kind of low key jokes. Like, I was aiming for the other one. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. The knee missiles, Lost Pathfinder says the knee missiles were in the original visual dictionary. They weren't even used in the comics up until this episode. So it's like a deep cut there to the old visual dictionary.
They have been I want to say dragging, but digging, and I don't want to say digging, but just bringing so much cool EU stuff.
They have. There's another one. There's a name I don't exactly have, but we'll get to it a little bit later when he shows his chain code, because there are some Easter eggs. That's been decrypted online already.
No way.
Yeah, and there's a certain originally, Boba Fett had an alias as a totally different guy who was a marshal out in like the just roaming the outer rim, like, you know, fighting crime and stuff like that. And then they retconned, they changed Boba's backstory so many times all through the years, and then drastically once Episode 2 came out and you found out Boba was just a clone of Jango. You know?
It was
Jaster Muriel. Thank you, Lewis Jaster Muriel. And so that name is now in his chain code, or at least Jaster is, and we can assume it's Muriel, that it's depending on what it means based on where it is in his chain code, that could either be his grandfather or an alias or something like that. So it's pretty cool. They're really cool. Deep cuts. So then, of course, we get the shot of the in chat for the Razor Crest. Yeah.
So part of me was wondering why I know why Boba didn't shoot it, but why didn't the Imperial transport shoot the ships as they came in?
The ships, the Imperial. Wait, what ships?
Like the landing transfer, they had guns on their sides. Why didn't they shoot like the Razor Crest as they came in?
Oh well, they don't have the same type of armament. They have there's a big like orbital bombardment compared to planetary.
Turbo laser versus that's fair.
Yeah. I think that's basically what it was. What was the chain code? We'll get to that. I jumped farther a little bit, but yes. So yes, I'll be honest with you. How many of you guys watching right now saw this and your first thought was, man, I'm glad I did not back that Hasbro Kickstarter, the HasLab, that $300-400 Razor Crest that just closed like a few weeks ago. Like they got your money now. Now they're like, all right, we wrapped up. We just closed. Okay, air the episode where this ship doesn't exist anymore. You know.
So the cynic in me goes, this means that they can give him a new ship and they can market this new ship for toys and X-Wing and things like that.
Yes, he is definitely going to get a new ship. My guess is, I mentioned the Slave 2. My guess is it's going to be the Slave 2. It's in look, they're pulling so much stuff out of EU and Legends, and that was another Mandalorian ship. There's a certain, it's got its own class, it's got all of this stuff, but it's all in Legends. I'm pretty sure that.
What were the spinny things called? I forgot.
The Protectorate fighters or the Fangs, the Fang fighters. Yeah, that would be cool. I don't think a Fang would work for him because that's just a one-man fighter. A Gauntlet fighter would work. That's the bigger one. Those are in Armada too. Those are like Millennium Falcon sized. The Gauntlet fighters.
Oh yeah, so like and with Bo-Katan and all that, you have that option to bring in like the any of that Concordan, the Death.
It would be a great option for them to kind of bridge the gap between this show and Rebels if they did bring in a Gauntlet fighter. But I think they'll give him the Slave too. I think they're going for deep cuts as much as possible here. I think, and in the Slave 2, honestly, it's a little bit more. It's not as curvy. It's got a lot more straight lines down. A little bit
the curves.
Honestly, it's a little bit like an HWK, like a Hawk 290. Really? But it's only got like the wing on one side. It's kind of asymmetric looking ship. But you have to Google it. If you Google Slave 2, you'll find it. Yeah. But
I'm a fan of symmetry in my ships. All right.
yeah, no, I get it. They don't all have symmetry though, but the Slave 2 was a Mandalorian ship. Thomas More says, yeah, it definitely was. It makes sense here, and that could be part of the thing. Maybe Boba has multiple ships, and maybe Boba like ends up leaving him with it or something like that, and that's their connection. Who knows? So,
our beautiful Architans.
Yes. So then you get some shots of this.
When you flew 5 of them in Armada.
Oh man, I love this ship. I wonder if this is going to be. I think this ship, and we've seen it in a couple of episodes now, but I don't know if we've ever seen an Architans in live action before this season.
No.
It's always been in the animated realm in multiple places. So I'm wondering if like the differences in the design are indicative that this is a different class, like an Architans Mark II.
Is it different? What's different about it?
There's just so much more detail, so much more greebles.
Oh,
it's just way more detailed. Or if it's just like, hey, that's the difference between live action and animation. You get more detail in live action, right?
You kind of get that, like the little differences.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for them to be able to say, well, this is actually an Architans Mark II because it was made towards the end of the Empire. Like, this is post Return of the Jedi, and he's running a Clone Wars ship. Like, that's really old. And most of the Clone Wars ships got all dismantled. Like, so maybe this is Architans Mark II, but I don't know if they would have made any more of these. Right? They would have probably just used the ones from the Clone War until they were exhausted.
That depends on we're talking about the manufacturing capabilities and let's if it's a cheap, easy to make ship, maybe it's good for patrol craft kind of stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
Let's go deep in like the Empire structure right there.
I don't think that's the way that Moff Gideon sees it though, because this is obviously his flagship. This is, in my opinion, obviously the biggest ship he has, or at least that he can fly around in. He might have a bigger ship that is maybe grounded somewhere. He might have a Star Destroyer with a broken hyperdrive or something somewhere. But like, because he has the Dark Troopers on this thing, which he's getting ready to launch.
Yeah.
And he obviously those are his prized possession. Those are his baby. It seems like, so he's not going to take those just on a lesser ship. So this is his flagship. It seems like.
I agree. So it's maybe he's.
Yeah.
I mean, the Clone Wars. Mandalore was taken over kind of by the Republic during the Clone Wars. So maybe most of the stuff around Mandalore is still Clone Wars era things.
I don't.
So that's why he has.
Well, there's the rumor is that the Dark Troopers are made of Beskar. We didn't really get any confirmation on that. This episode.
It makes sense. It gives me why they had so much around, like why the one guy paid him in Beskar.
Yeah, they obviously have Beskar in spades. So that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And of course, here we get the Dark Troopers. There had been some question on whether or not like there were like if the quest for the blood of Baby Yoda was for the Dark Trooper project to make these guys active, and I think we kind of got that settled. There are not people in these things. These guys are full-blown remote-controlled droids.
That is oh man, I forgot the name of the game.
Dark Forces.
Dark Force. Thank you. The Doom style game I remember playing. Like that was like my introduction to like some of the Star Wars video games.
Yeah, exactly. Tom Walker thinks this is Gideon's personal shuttle. It could be. It could be. He might have a bigger ship. I don't think so. But at the same time, it is possible. It is possible. I like that they're showing more Imperial ships than making them more recognizable than just Star Destroyers all the time, because as a lover of fleets and ships and capital ships and variety of capital ships, I know that there's lots of different Imperial ships available. And some they haven't even shown yet. I'd love to see the Onager or the Siegebreaker, and I'd love to see more interdictors and stuff like that. But
they haven't used interdictors their full capability in any of the movies or the shows, because like those are meant to be like.
Thrawn used them at the Battle of Adelon to stop the rebels from escaping, and that was the best use we've seen of them on screen. So Thrawn would use stuff like that correctly, though.
Exactly.
Yeah. And of course they land. They land and they capture Baby Yoda right, as he starts to wake up. And of course, you can also see like their midsection is just pistons and stuff. They're definitely not. Oh, yeah. There's no human in here at all.
Yeah, it's really cool that they brought back the Dark Trooper concept. Like it's it's kind of cool because it's one of the things like the Empire was built upon fighting the CIS, which is all droids, but then they kind of like, oh hey, what if we had our own droid force?
It is pretty interesting, and the funny thing is that wasn't even like they didn't even have the prequels when Dark Forces was made. They were just kind of figuring things out.
Oh, that's true. They didn't. Oh man, but it's still cool.
It was it's funny how things like that kind of work themselves out, but. I love all the deep cuts. I love that, and I think the really interesting thing here is kind of how the stormtroopers demonstrated two weaknesses that the dark troopers fix in this episode. At the beginning, you say that the commander yelling, "Flank them, you idiot!" Like they're stupid. Droids aren't stupid. Droids do exactly what they're supposed to do, right? And also, then later on, the stormtroopers run in fear. Droids don't run in fear.
I do that, yeah.
Right. Dark troopers, like if these guys show up in Legion, they're going to have a fear value of nil. They're there.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. They're going to be troopers with no courage value. They're completely remote control. They
I like that a lot.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. But they'd probably have something where they cannot be your commander. They cannot be nominated as a commander. So they might actually be a support. They might even be considered a vehicle. I don't know because they're not.
Or have AI in terms of like a. Because they have to have a command, basically.
It could be, but they could be an advanced AI that it doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, but either way, like this seems like a really expensive, like over 100-point unit for Legion, something like that. And of course, they're flying away. Mando's watching them through the scopes. You see Baby Yoda through the heat, the heat spectrum, kind of looking down at him. It's like, ah! That's sad.
I can't imagine that feels good going that high in atmosphere either.
Oh no, that oxygen had to get pretty. I think that's why he flew into atmosphere like so low. Is why he brought the ship low into Atmo. Is because like, hey, look, we need to take him out. If I send a shuttle down there, and maybe that was the first. Like, hey, let's send some troopers down there, see if they can just bring the child up in a shuttle. If that and it's like, wait, they're retreating. Okay, send the dark troopers.
Yeah. Or the whole thing was to distract. Hey, we're going to distract them with the stormtroopers, and then use the dark troopers just as an extraction.
It was a good plan, and I think it's a testament to Moff Gideon's strategy. Is that like, look, we're going to send this. Plan A is for the stormtroopers to go in there and win, and then take the child up in a shuttle more safely, and then return to the ship. Plan B is that they fail, but now they're a distraction, and now here come the dark troopers.
It's always cool, like in the story-wise, having the villain win sometimes because that gives your characters more to strive against and more to do.
There was a lot. This episode was like the Empire Strikes Back of this series. Like they won big time. They got the child and they destroyed his ship. Yeah, they won big time, and the Dark Troopers won untouched.
Oh, so people talk about Thrawn. This a little side out. Do you think Thrawn and Gideon are working together, or they're a separate entity entirely?
I'd like to think that they're a separate entity entirely, but I could see the show maybe ending. We got 2 more episodes. I think the next episode is going to be a 2-parter. I could see Gideon eventually.
2 more episodes?
There's only 2 more episodes this season, yeah.
Oh, God.
I could see this show ending with Moff Gideon kind of flying away, like escaping and kind of flying into the shuttle bay of a Star Destroyer. We finally see a Star Destroyer on screen, and it's got the Chimera logo on the bottom, and fade to black. That's how it ends. Like. I could see that happening, and that leaves the audience with a huge amount of questions. First off, people who aren't familiar are going to be like, "What ship was that?" And so that'll be number one Google question. Everybody who does know is going to be like, "Wait, was he working for Thrawn, or did he run to Thrawn?" And Thrawn was going to be like, "Who are you? What is this failure? Why did you not report to Grand Admiral Sloane when she was in command? Oh, now you come seeking my help, Or was he working for Thrawn all along? I don't think he was working for Thrawn all along. I don't think he is.
I don't think so either. He seems too like if he was the I want to say the Moff of Mandalore, he seems too egotistical. And they kind of do that trope of like the Moffs thinking that they're top dog for anything they do. Even
and we've seen enough of the Imperial remnants in the new canon now, whether it was from Star Wars Squadrons or whatever. There's a lack of cooperation in the absence of strong leadership, and I think Gideon is strong. He's an alpha type of character. He's an alpha male character, so I don't think he would be subservient to anyone. He does not, anyone minus the
Yeah,
Emperor.
freaking lightsaber, man. He probably has like, no, I can just chop you with this, like that kind of.
Yeah, and I could see Gideon, if he loses the Darksaber this season, which I expect him to. I think that's going to be the thing that allows him to escape. Like maybe he like drops the Darksaber and runs, and Bo-Katan has to choose to stop him or get the Darksaber before it goes out the airlock. She's going to go for the Darksaber. I think that's his ticket to freedom, is by losing that, plot wise. So yeah, I think that's all going to happen now that he's lost everything. Now all of a sudden he'll become subservient to Thrawn, maybe being the one way that Thrawn can lose, because he would be almost treasonous to Thrawn in the bigger picture. I'm doing season 4 spoilers now.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, we're going in like the book, but one of Thrawn's weaknesses is in terms of people. In some ways, he doesn't play the political game.
The things he can't control, the lack of understanding of politics, the lack of social graces, and the failure of other people to follow his orders to the letter. And if somebody's deliberately planning against him from within, now there's a good chance that Thrawn would catch this, though. And he's grown. He will have grown by this time.
And we don't know what him and Ezra were doing all that time in the Outer Rim.
We also don't know if Thrawn will have Eli Vanto at his side. Or Captain Pelion, since he's canon now too. Admiral Arelani.
Yeah, I know.
Or Jack Nicholson. Oh, what are you doing?
What was his name?
I don't know, but like we're making a reference to the audiobooks because Mark Thompson did one of these, another Chiss commander or captain who it basically sounds like Jack Nicholson. Yeah. Here's Johnny.
He's a fun character though, but like, yeah, it's totally Jack Nicholson.
When he opens the door and Thrawn's there, he's like, "Here's Thrawny." That's terrible. Terrible dad joke of the day. All right. So Boba's in the air, and he's about to start shooting the Dark Troopers, but he gets called off. No, they have the child. Don't kill the child. I wanted to see what would happen if he fired like the Slave One's gun at them.
Is that like a reference to the no disintegrations? Like, hey, don't do the bad thing.
No, I think it was. I think they want you to know that I think Starfighter fire could kill him. I think the no disintegrations thing was from episode 2 when he was disintegrating the Jawas with his rifle.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Starfighter firepower could be enough to take them down, potentially. And if it doesnn't kill the Beskar, it would at least fry the circuits that are operating them or something like that.
Oh, but, yeah. Even Mando taking all the shots. I think my wife actually brought a good point. He's probably getting all bruised up underneath that armor.
Yeah, exactly.
That force is still going somewhere.
Yeah, you can't take those shots forever. Yeah, that is absolutely a fantastic point. But yeah, he gets spooked. Boba gets a little spooked that the Empire is officially back. Like he saw some stormtroopers, but he didn't realize they had actually capital ships. And yeah,
that actually brings up a point. Like, what has he been doing? I mean, this is like this is like what, 6 years after Return of the Jedi?
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years.
So has he been stuck on Tatooine this whole time? Has this seen like the lack of Empire entirely? Or if he has the Slave One, has he been exploring the galaxy?
That's a really good question. I mean, obviously, he's got the ability to travel off-world. I think there's a pretty good chance he has been off-world, but without his armor, his ability to earn a a decent income has been limited.
Well, I would wager. It's a pride thing too of trying to get that armor back. So maybe he was on Tatooine just trying to find that armor the whole time.
He's probably been hunting for it because we know that, all right, dude that had it from the books, he bought it from the Jawas, and he's had it for a while. But this town that he was at was kind of hidden. It was not well known. So we know that the armor was for the most part hidden. And so if he's been, it stands to reason that Boba Fett, even if he's got the Slave One, has had alerts set up for Mandalorians on Tatooine, because that's probably going to mean somebody saw a dude wearing Boba Fett's armor.
Yeah, that's true.
And so since Mando showed up there, that probably triggered, his alerts or his informants. He's probably got watchers, or maybe he just hangs out around there whenever he's not on a job. So that's my guess. That's my guess. And it's a pride thing, it's a heritage thing, and it's Beskar, which is worth a fortune and kind of irreplaceable for him. So
yeah, I love the fact that it's cortosis, the kind of bring out the cortosis stuff where it's lightsaber resistant, and blocks blaster bolts. It's cool.
It seems like so. Yeah, there's also a bet going on right now. I'm going to get to the cortosis because we get to the explosion here. Whether or not the knob is Beskar. I don't think it is. But do you guys watching? What do you think is stronger, cortosis or Beskar?
Oh, Beskar.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah.
Oh, obviously, yeah, absolutely. I think cortosis was, as I understand it from what I remember from my EU lore, it was particularly just to be against lightsabers. Like you would weave it to be resistant to lightsaber stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's, as far as I remember. I mean, it's been a while, but cortosis was like, it was kind of like the loophole in like Knights of the Old Republic of why you could do battle with other Jedi or like with Vibro swords and still win.
Toasty says Boba's armor isn't Beskar because it has a dent. We don't know. Nothing says that Beskar can't ever get dented. I mean, apparently the armorer can mold it into whatever shape she wants. So if you get hit with the armorer's hammer, I bet you that could dent your Beskar. But
yeah, that is a good point. But yeah, you're right.
Well, the dent came from, there was a deleted scene, like of an episode that never got made for Clone Wars, where Cad Bane and Boba Fett had a shootout, and Boba Fett killed Cad Bane, but Cad Bane shot Boba Fett in the helmet, and that's what gave him the dent. So they did like a standard kind of duel. But for all we know, Cad Bane was smart enough to have a Beskar bullet.
Like a laser bullet?
Yeah, like a Beskar laced blaster bullet, because they're still a projectile.
Oh yeah, you could do like a slug. I mean, they still got
had a slug.
in
Yeah,
Star Wars.
Yeah, he might have loaded a Beskar slug. I mean, you could easily retcon that into the the script that never existed anyway. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so yeah, but
I mean, it's we're nitpicking in terms of like the very minutia of like it's got a dent, it can't be this, but like they didn't know that back when they probably didn't think of Beskar in like episode 2 and all, or episode 3 and all that.
Yeah, who knows when they actually Well, no, the dent was in Empire Strikes Back. Like when the first time you see him, he's got the dent.
Right.
Yeah. So he finds the little ball, the little bauble. Of course, he was going to find that. I have a feeling this won't be the last time we see this. I think when he sees the kid, this is going to be something like maybe snap him out of a trance or something like that, or help to wake him up. Or
because we see him going a little dark later in the episode.
Maybe. But then the spear survives too. So Mando's got his he's got a spear, man. I'll be happy about that. Because it would have been unfortunate if he went through this whole quest to get this awesome spear and we still haven't seen him use it yet.
Yeah, exactly. See how well in melee he does, or if somehow he gets passed to someone else that he can use it better.
Maybe who knows? I mean, maybe maybe he trades it to Bo-Katan. It's like, look, you're not very good with the Darksaber. Here, I'll trade you. This is.
Oh yeah, but Lin Storm 7, like he could fight Gideon with that because.
Oh yeah, he's definitely. That's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
that's going to happen. Yeah. So, and of course, so here at this point, they're kind of settling things up, and Boba wants to make things right. Boba is actually pretty cool here. And
he is.
Cooler than I expected him. I thought earlier in this season that Boba was going to be a pure villain, and no,
we did talk about that before.
Yeah, they made him actually be pretty cool. A reasonable dude. Like he's out for himself, but he's also got his own code of honor, and I he's a likable guy now.
I think maybe it's probably from how many mishaps he's had with the other criminal element. He's like, oh, maybe I'm hanging out with the wrong kind of dudes.
I think they probably didn't want to make one of their most marketable characters a complete asshole.
This is very true.
Yeah. Yeah. So this particular chain code, it says a whole bunch of things, and so it was translated, to have a couple of things. It has the name Boba Fett. It says Concord Dawn. It has like where he is from, and it has the whole history, and basically this is kind of answering a lot of those questions. He goes on to give the whole backstory, like the whole retconned backstory about how his father was a foundling and Jango fought in the Mandalorian Civil Wars and all of this, which in some ways it kind of contradicts, because I was watching Star Wars Explained do a video earlier about the history of the Boba Fett controversy and stuff. And so big thanks to Star Wars Explained for clarifying some of that, because the timeline of things, it gets a bit confusing. Because in the Clone Wars, you have that old dude that on Mandalore that refers to Jango Fett and says, he's not Mandalorian. He's just an imposter wearing the armor or whatever. And like everybody was like, oh, it's canon now that he's not Mandalorian. Well, for all we know, he was just an elitist that didn't like the fact that this guy was kind of like Death Watch, or kind of like an outsider. Maybe he was a purist.
Even Bo-Katan called the Mando a fanatic. Like, oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, exactly. But Bo-Katan is more inclusive, right? Like they're the one theory like Star Wars Explained talked about too, and I thought this was kind of interesting. Is like, when we see the Mandalorians during the Clone Wars, when this dude said this, they're all like very like Roman style. They're all like white people. They're all like elegant and rich and aristocratic and stuff. And like, and look at Jango, right? Like Jango is from New Zealand. He's brown skinned. He's an outsider, right? Like and stuff. And so maybe that goes into the theme of what does it mean to be a Mandalorian, because Pedro Pascal is not white, right? He's he's Hispanic, and so could he be an outsider, but that had to earn. He's a foundling. So foundling itself is like, hey, anybody can be a foundling, but you have to earn it. So is being a Mandalorian a birthright, or is it something that you work for and work hard? So is it determined by your character more than your blood?
Yeah, but actually that digs into the EU of it, because originally the Mandalorians were actually a species. Like, they're a weird looking species, but then because of like shortages or something, they would adopt people like, hey, you know what, you fight well, or I've lived with you, you're a Mandalorian now. So you would basically adopt families of Mandalorians, and you keep going on and on. It wasn't always a bloodline thing. It was like, no,
I think it's been both, because it's a great way to kind of round out like the inconsistencies of the canon and the stories of like what had been said before versus what's being said now. And the best way to go with it is, first off, look, it's fiction, it's a TV show. Let's just try to enjoy it. But to nitpick and to try to dig into the weeds and stuff, I think it's both. Like, it was a bloodline, it was a planet. The people who in their caste system were one type of Mandalorian, but you also have Death Watch, and then the children of the Watch, and all of this other stuff that have certainly earned it. And I think it's kind of cool when we go back to Bo-Katan's episode. She had 3 different people, and they all looked. Their skin, their hair, their ethnicity, their backgrounds, they all look like they came from very different regions and or planets or something like that. So I love the inclusion, the message of kind of diversity, and how it's like, these people probably earned their armor, And
I think too, like in terms of like the Clone Wars show, you had graphical limitations, so they probably went with the same character model for everyone just to make it easier on the people. So
possibly, I that's a good point. That's a really good point. So this all was really cool. He hitches a ride with Mando. I guess Mando's like letting him, like they're all, and he goes back to Cara Dune. I heard, this is really funny. I heard somebody mention like a little joke about the Mandalorian, a story of this bounty hunter who can't stop making best friends on every planet he goes to. I'm like literally everywhere he goes, he makes a new best friend who's willing to fight and die for him. Like, yeah,
it's true.
I'm jealous, man. Is it the armor? Is it how shiny it is? He goes back to Cara Dune, wants to look up Bill Burr's character to help. And this is like, all right, come on, you don't need him. Like, just because somebody once was a stormtrooper doesn't mean they know where Moff Gideon is now.
Yeah.
Or he wasn't a stormtrooper. He was a sharpshooter. But, I mean, come on. Like, and first off, you're going to go to somebody that you locked up. Wouldn't you rather get somebody that doesn't want to kill you?
Yeah, it's true.
But they went with Bill Burr because he was in the show already, and he's cool.
I like pointing like, hey, like, I got to do this. Well, we got to follow these rules. They took the baby. No, all rules are off once you involve the child.
Yeah. Tim B, great name by the way, says Foundling took into the year the Concord Dawn, Mentor Jaster, Father Fett, Boba Fett, the chain link. So that's like all the chain link stuff, like the stuff you can see, like, and it goes down lower than that, but yes, those are all the words that it showed in the chain link thing. But yes, Tom says, I think he's forgotten his jetpack. I'm pretty sure he picked it up off screen, like in between cutscenes. Yeah. But that's funny. All right, so yeah, so basically, this is gearing up for another end of season all-star cast, right?
Yeah, that is. Oh,
he's gonna go pick up Bill Burr. I don't know if we'll see like Clancy Brown again with the the big devil horns and stuff. I don't know if we'll see like the whole crew back together, but that would be kind of cool. But I think he'll just get Bill Burr. We'll get to see Bill Burr do some more kind of cool stuff with the gun. And
Bo-Katan for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we'll see Ahsoka, but I do think we'll see which other Jedi got called.
I'm really curious because we got brought up like Mace Windu. Like I wonder who they could bring. Oh, you know what? Ezra.
Yeah, it could be.
I didn't think about that. Ezra could be called.
There's a lot of rumors that like the big. All right, so let's get into it because towards the end of the episode we get Baby Yoda's in the Imperial prison cell. He's playing flip flop with these stormtroopers. This was hilarious to watch. Yeah. He's throwing them around. They're trying to resist. He is having fun with them, but it tires him out. Moff Gideon is like teasing him with the Darksaber a little bit, and Baby Yoda tries to grab it, and he's like, no, you're not ready for this. But I almost got the feeling that he knew him.
It did seem like that. Like he's like taunting him, like, remember, buddy?
Have you ever seen one of these? Now, that could have meant, have you ever seen a lightsaber? Or it could have mean, have you ever seen a black lightsaber? Like, dude, look what I found. But yeah, like he said something like, you're getting better at that. Like, what history do you have with this child? I'm really curious. Because it would make sense. If he's put out such a bounty on this thing, it would make sense if he knew about him. Yeah. Like maybe maybe Moff Gideon was once a Jedi. Maybe he's the one that stole him from the Jedi Temple. But remember, he was taken from the Jedi Temple at the. Okay. Maybe this is the guy that told him. Maybe he was a young Jedi, went on to become an Inquisitor, and retired and became an Imperial Moff.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Tying the Inquisitors would be very cool.
Look, he's been carrying this thing around. He's going to use it at some point. And if he's any good, then there's probably a chance that he's got some training. So he could have been an Inquisitor, depending on how good he is. That'll be interesting. And then they put Baby Yoda in chains. And this is kind of where the episode ends. Baby Yoda's in the tiniest little handcuffs you ever did see. I mean, that's so cute. Yeah. All right, so let's go on to what you were talking about. Who did Baby Yoda call through the Force?
Yes.
Who did Grogu call? The big theories, look, everybody's saying, like, there's all these stuff, Sebastian Stan to come play Luke Skywalker. Sebastian Stan, if you guys aren't familiar, is the actor who played Winter Soldier. And he is a dead ringer for Mark Hamill. You probably wouldn't think so because he's got long hair.
Photoshop thing.
Yeah, but if you Photoshop him with Mark Hamill's hair, it looks just like him. He'd be a great casting for Luke Skywalker, but as much as I love Luke, I don't think this is the right show for Luke Skywalker to show up in. Because then it makes it all about Luke the Skywalker saga again. So Ezra is a great option.
Yeah, he is. Tie it all together.
It ties it all together. It's definitely, and it feeds into some of the things they've already done. But the problem is, if Ezra shows up, it almost like it's like, all right, now this show. My fear is if Ezra shows up, and I don't think it would be next episode. I feel like whoever he called is going to show up in episode 8, which would be the finale. Yeah, I feel like that's a good, like, we're about to lose, and all of a sudden, off screen, I'm like, what are you doing to my little green friend? And the Ninja Turtles show up and like nunchucks, or some kind of some kind of a
He brings the hyperspace wolves through.
No kidding. Oh my God! Could you imagine if space whales show up and surround the ship?
That'd be pretty cool.
And Ezra's like riding them with like a mask on. Oh my God. But yeah. But the problem is if Ezra shows up, then this show then this show becomes the Rebels sequel. And then it's no longer about the Mandalorian anymore. I mean, that's really the problem, right? I mean, because the Rebels sequel is supposed to deal with the return of Ezra. Like, that's what they set up Rebels is all about. Like, we've got to go find Ezra because he's with Thrawn. And so I didn't mind like Ahsoka being like, hey, Ahsoka's looking for clues to find Thrawn because they're setting up the Rebels sequel show. Yeah. But if Ezra returns, that to me completely invalidates the entire setup of where Rebels kind of pointed us. Yeah. That's my thought.
People are talking about Cal Kestis. That could be very cool as well.
That's who I think is going to show up. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look, that actor's he's still around. I think he's still doing a lot of stuff. I forget the guy's name, Monahan or something like that.
You got me, buddy.
Yeah, but he's still doing things, and I mean, shoot, who wouldn't want to be in a Disney Plus Star Wars show? Like, I don't think they'll have a hard time getting just about anybody. Darth Jar Jar, I see from the comments. No,
I love that theory.
A lot of people think, but Mace Windu is another option.
I actually want to talk a little bit of Voss. Someone who mentioned the catcher mentioned Voss. Now Voss was from the Yuzon Vaughn series, who was the
wait, are you talking about Quinlan Voss?
No. Oh, maybe Quinlan Voss. Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of Voss. If you remember from the Yuzon Vaughn series, Jason had a gray Jedi mentor who was a Verge, which was like a bird people kind of thing.
Oh,
and she was she kind of taught Jason how to be dark and light kind of thing.
I don't know if they'll do a bird person.
They probably won't do a bird person.
I don't think so.
It's a bit hard.
Oh my goodness, there's some great options showing up. So I'm going to go through them.
Kyle Katarn, because Dark Troopers, man, bring the whole. That's full circle right there.
Okay, so it's his overload, right? So let's start. Mace Windu is a great option. First off, Samuel L. Jackson has been wanting to come back forever, so
True.
no problem there. He's also old now too, so it totally works. Is that Ahsoka? Is that Ahsoka?
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
Everybody
guys.
wants to see Ahsoka. Look at you, little puppy. Look at that puppy. Hi, Ahsoka. Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
She's very cute.
She's so cute. All right.
Very whiny.
So, well, actually, speaking of Ahsoka, Ahsoka's another possibility. He could have called out to Ahsoka, and she came back, and she comes back again and says, "All right, I guess I have to train
do this."
Yeah, like that could be. I don't think that'll happen, but I think if that happens, then she takes him, and then he's no longer part of the show anymore. And I don't know if they're going to do that.
I don't think.
But Mace Windu is definitely an option. He could show up. And also that gives, if Boba Fett is there, that gives you a great confrontation. He's like, "You killed my father," like that's really cool. Yeah. Like that. But Mara Jade, I'm seeing in chat.
I know. I'm looking at that now. I'm like, oh man, it would be so cool because she was one of my favorite characters during the Thrawn series.
I honestly thought they were going to save Mara Jade for the Ezra story, right? Like, do Mara Jade like how Mara Jade was trying to kill Luke Skywalker and eventually he befriended her, right?
Yep.
Have that be part of the Ezra story.
He did more than befriend her, buddy.
They made some babies. Well, they made one baby, right?
Yeah,
but yeah,
true.
yes. But yeah, so I kind of want them to save Mara Jade for that because that's a more Legends fitting introduction because you keep Thrawn, you can also introduce Talon Card, and things like that. You could almost do the Heir to the Empire story, but change change Luke to Ezra and maybe a few planets. Just change them around.
Bring the Dreadnought fleet back. Oh.
Absolutely, you'd be so far out there. You could have ancient ships that we've never seen before, and you have a perfect excuse because they're out freaking thousands of light years away. So while Mara Jade would be great fan service, I kind of hope they go in a different direction. My hope is they do an all new character.
Really? Okay.
My hope is they pick an all new character that is now a new character that can be on the series, that can be part of the show. Maybe
like a companion for the Mando and the Grogu.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be. I mean, you know what? No, I like that, Tim. I really like that because it does. You have now a new character that's combined with the Mando that could be really cool. Oh, I like that.
And now you get to the audience gets to learn about a whole new character, and if they're a Jedi, you're already interested in them.
Yeah.
You also now don't know their motivations because if an all-new character comes out, you don't know whether to trust them. Maybe they are wearing white robes, so you assume they're a good character. But maybe they're, not so nice. Maybe they want to train Grogu in the dark side.
That's true. Oh, so quick question. And it's a little bit side, but talking about Jedi. The season finale of Rebels shows Ahsoka kind of walking up to Sabine, right?
Yeah.
So I've heard some talk about, where does this fall in the timeline? Is this before or after that scene in the very finale of Rebels?
I have heard that it's that Rebels is is not long after Ahsoka's episode in this show. So
really?
She was trying to find out where Thrawn was. Then she goes and picks up Sabine on Lothal, and she's like, "I got the location. Let me put my cool hood on. All right, now let's go find him. I know where he is now." That's kind of a rough timeline of how that is going to work, which that sounds great to me. There's another option.
Okay.
Solo, a Star Wars story.
Okay.
The girl who went to go train under Maul.
Kira?
Yes, Kira. She was very good at Terra's
sense even then?
Maybe she was and hadn't been trained yet, and said maybe Maul called her for a reason. They left her story wide open.
They did.
Wide open.
That's I forget her actor name. What's her name?
The Dragon Queen, Khaleesi.
Dragon Lady. That's all I know. Daenerys. That's all I know.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's another option. And granted, she would be old by this point, so I don't know. Anyway, we can speculate all day. But yeah, dude, great episode. Really
very,
cool episode.
very much was.
Yeah.
Amelia Clark. There we go.
Amelia Clark. Thank you guys. Thank you. All right. Well, that's all I've got. Let me know some more of you guys' speculation on who you think the Jedi will be that shows up, or do you think they'll make us wait a whole another season? Maybe they'll just tease us with like at the end, like a post-credits scene of like a robed figure, like, you know, and you just see like eyes lit behind the robed figure. It's like, I'm coming to your location, you know. I don't know.
Peter Rankin, I hope we see Eli Vanto.
Super chat from Peter Rankin, yes. Yeah, I think we'll definitely see Eli Vanto if we see Thrawn. Yeah. I don't know if we'll see Thrawn in live action or if they're going to save that for animated, though. I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, good point.
All right, you guys. Well, I think it's time to wipe things out or wind things down. I want to thank you guys all so much for hanging out. Sean.
That's very finalized. Wipe things out. Tim, are you telling me something?
Wipe them out. All of them. Everyone who's commented in live chat. We have their IP addresses. Send the Dark Troopers. Yes. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap it up. I want to thank you all so much. Sean, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me, buddy.
Absolutely. I will talk to you guys later. And as always, have a great day.